And this gentleman has purchased this game, and we're anxiously awaiting to see that YouTube channel and where that goes. I would think, even an unboxing video of what's in there. But you know what? Actually, the only thing that's ever surfaced is a 1 minute and I think 43-second video of Yamamoto Ryuichi sitting in front of his computer, weeping.
Weeping? Crying?
Crying.
Why? Here goes. Welcome gamers, non-gamers, PvEers, PvPers, and even NPCs. This is the New Wave Gaming Podcast Halloween Special. Yeah. Where's your laugh? Come on, where's your dial-up?
Okay. Yeah, shout out to the count on Sesame Street. Yeah. Taught me how to count and get down on Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everyone. This is Halloween weekend, and we have a special episode for you in celebration thereof. Chuck, it's great to see you, man. First and foremost, I love podcasting with you. Happy Halloween.
Yeah, happy Halloween to you and our viewers too, man. This is my Halloween. I feel like this is going to be the, where I really celebrate it the most. So yeah, happy to share that with y'all.
Hell yeah, man. I'm ready to go. Hold on. Just for the listener here, I got
Jesus Lord.
I got my machete. It's rusty. Just in case some zombie mofos decide to kick the door down, I'll be ready for them.
Holy shit. I just want to describe to our viewers that I'm a probably 3 to 4 foot machete with a good patina of rust on it. It was just brought forward.
Let me whip it out again here.
The sound. God, it looks pretty sharp too.
Ooh.
Great day.
Yeah. You almost just took a nice little chunk out.
You just keep that on hand there? Like
just on this weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen, man. My guard is down. I'm podcasting right now. I've also got the proton gun behind the laptop here, but I'm only going to bust that out in case any poltergeist decide to get frisky with me while we're podcasting.
Good thinking, man. Good thinking.
Was it called the proton gun or the proton rifle from Ghostbusters?
All I know is you don't cross the streams, man. I mean,
Agreed.
Yeah. And boy, there's not a bad Ghostbusters video game out there either. Like even like the one back in the day there, like gets credit for being a good game. So like, and the music's tight.
You mean on the Atari 2600? Or was it before that on the Commodore 64, was it?
There was a Commodore 64.
I think it was the Commodore.
It's been on a number of things, and it has some new ones coming out, I think, even. Like I saw like a cartoon type advertisement for one that's coming out now. So, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Gosh, yeah. I loved the jam for that movie and the game,
Yeah. Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Yeah. Bill Murray, man, does it for me too. Like he's just like and just you got the few straight men to kind of be around him. Like it's just comedy gold, man. I mean,
was Dan Aykroyd in there as well, right?
You got Dan Aykroyd. Is it Reichman? Is that one guy's name? I can't.
Yeah, I don't remember all of the actor names, but one hell of a team right there. Yeah, definitely check out any younger listeners. Check out the original Ghostbusters movies, man. Yeah. They were gold.
Yeah, video game.
Yeah, right? Hey, so on that note, thank you for joining us for this Halloween special. It's going to be a fun episode. Thanks to any new listeners out there. I'm Ovox.
And I'm ChukTomahawk.
Yeah, and again, this is the New Wave Gaming Podcast, episode 14. It's our Halloween special. Really don't have any name for it. We're just going to have a little fun with this one, right? You got some stuff on the pipeline for us, I think, right, Chuck?
Yeah, man. It kind of hit me. This was going to happen a couple weeks ago when we were looking at the schedule. So, yeah, I've had a little time to, put together a few jump scares and tricks and treats for you.
Yeah, and one thing you mentioned was a nope phenomena, and I got to be honest with you, man. I had never heard about that, yet I have experienced it.
Yeah.
I think to the maximum of extent rather of the nope effect, nope phenomena. I've experienced that in its maximum form, like in its top level, and I didn't even realize it existed.
Yeah. I was reading an article. I think it was about a Resident Evil game, and it was kind of like they were talking about they were developing like the next game in the series, and they were saying that they were trying to tone it down a little bit because in the last game the rate of people noping out was really high, and I thought, boy, that really describes it to me.
Gosh darn, Chuck, guess what game really laid the framework for Ovox here never enjoying horror games?
Let's hear it.
Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Man, dude, that I gave up on all games. Like I'm actually at a real disadvantage here, fellow gamers, because like I don't have much in my experience library, my personal experience with horror games or survival horror or terror games, however you want to call it. I'm at a real disadvantage because I noped out. I noped out way back when, man. I was like, to hell with this, like these games, man, because of Resident Evil. Yeah. That was the first one.
Well, I think you're hitting on it though. We're in the same camp, so we're going to come at this from a very similar perspective. But it is Halloween, and so if we're ever going to do this, like now's the time. I think like we'll respect that fact and have some fun with it because I think it's always fun to watch people that. Like I've only been to a few horror movies even in my life, but I've been drugged there, by my significant others, and my long-term girlfriend would take me on these ghost tours and things. So I've been exposed to this, and so yeah, I'm the one that kind of makes it fun for them because even though I'm a big old dude and like or whatever, I ain't above screaming like a girl, like and running for it. Like I don't mess with no voodoo or. No ghost or
no
nothing.
Clowns?
Like that.
What about
clowns? No, mad looking clown or anything like that.
What about an insane clown posse?
I'll mess with the insane clown posse now. That F
but
the
what
world.
What about a posse of clowns that are insane, maybe chasing you on the street? Would you mess with them?
I'd probably just
not the band.
That's when this where this comes in. I'm gonna nope on out right there. nope out. And there's just something about clowns that have always done that to me, and it can be the simplest thing. Even like just like a cartoon clown can kind of elicit that response from me. But yeah, I like. It sounds like
you have a real phobia of clowns, don't you? Sorry for jumping in like that.
Oh yeah, dude, yeah. I mean, what's not to be afraid of? They roll 12 deep in a car. They work at the circus, which is highly suspect.
Yeah, and there's probably they're probably in a large van with something on top that has a spring, and it kind of just wiggles around, like
that twisted metal
like from
clown.
That Twisted Metal game.
Yeah, dude, that guy, he was a pain in the butt. What was his name?
I don't remember, man.
God, I remember him being a pain though, exactly like you described. Yeah, it's just clowns in general, really. I think too, like when I see a real live person that dresses up as a clown, like for parties and such, like I can't help but just examine, like, what's going on here? Like, like I've got some weird hobbies. I mean, but that one just gets me somehow. Like it's like, yeah, something weird's going on there. I feel it. It's like sixth sense or something, but yeah, and
keep all your senses up, man. Keep them all going.
So yeah, I'm with you. It doesn't take much for me to get sort of scared in a situation like this, and you know, I do like that concept of noping out, and I think I sent you something about there's a game called the Amnesia, the Dark Descent, or something like that has on the Xbox. You can actually get an achievement for noping out. If you load the game and start the game and watch the first cutscene and immediately turn it off, like, you get an achievement that says nope.
That's crazy, man. So we should, okay, so let's just dive right into what is noping out. Like, give it to us. Because
I can best describe it in an experience I had with a movie. I'll say, and it's a Mickey Rourke movie, and I believe the name of it is Bullet. And
what year would that have been from, more or less? Hit or, just up
I'm
or
gonna
down?
say 81, and I was probably watching it in around 90 or something, somewhere in thereabouts. And
good old times, man.
Yeah, VCR times. Didn't probably just picked it up because I didn't see a lot else that was appealing to me. Mickey Rourke's kind of a tough guy, but he's a little before my time even. So, even though he's had some movies in the later days here that are also good, one of which being The Wrestler. But anyhow, like, long story short, in this movie, he's like a career criminal, and he's just gotten out of jail, and he's like in this convertible, and he's like riding around his old neighborhood. He's kind of reconnected with his gang members, and they're like riding around, and they're getting messed up on some kind of like, methamphetamine or something real insane. And like they're showing almost that Max Payne, craziness, like where it's,
I remember that.
They're actually showing that in the movie, and he sees these two college kids, and I was like a college kid around this time.
Well, hold on. What were you feeling with all that going on? Like, what was the how are you?
I'm going to say, like,
absorbing the movie.
When I was in college, every now and then we'd, kind of go out and look for some of the devil's lettuce, and like, it wasn't like, like now where you could, maybe find a sane person to find it. Like, you had to go to crazy places to find it, and it, not like as this movie's portraying. These kids were looking for some hard drugs, and what I'm talking about, there were these two college age around kids about my age at the time that were riding in this neighborhood, and he picked up on it immediately that they weren't from around there and they were looking for drugs. And like, he pulls them over, like starts talking to them, and they try to be tough, like maybe a little bit in the beginning, and like they just kind of like take him over and like take him up to this rooftop of this building, and he looks at him and says that while he was in prison, even though he's not like don't swing that way or whatever, he got a taste for young boys. And like tells them to turn around and drop their drawers. And like, dude, I couldn't get out of the chair fast enough. Like, I came from across the room and hit the eject button and noped out. Like, the end of that movie may be the best movie ever made, but I will never know because I'm not watching anymore from this point on. I don't know what happened. They built up the drama, but yeah, that's, to me,
was that a terror movie or a scary movie?
Was it? I mean, it was scary for me. I mean, yeah, honestly, like that's, to me, is like the best I can describe noping out. Like, where, I just, like, even though, like, I'm kind of joking with you. It was more of like I don't know, like a drama, like crime movie, true crime, kind of movie, I guess, to some degree. But it
noped you. It got you.
It noped me out. And yeah, I've it's real easy to get me to that place in scary movie wise. Like when I was a kid, the Jason movies. What is that? Nightmare on Elm Street was really popular, and the Freddy Krueger, Friday the 13th was the Jason movies that I'm thinking of.
What was that one, like with a scarecrow? Was it called The Honeyman or Honey? Do you know which one I'm talking about?
God, Candyman or something like that.
Candyman,
oh
dude.
My God, yeah.
Gnarly.
Yeah, like that.
See,
at least back in my day, it would always be like.
Remember it?
That's got a clown. Like, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. I just kind of put salt in the wound.
Yeah, God, I'm so scared of that.
Chuck's face just changed entirely, listeners.
It works on me. I'm not kidding when I say like this is my Halloween. Like I usually don't go to these places. When I had the girlfriend that was into it, like I would do it for her, and my sister kind of is way into this kind of stuff. You know, they're all the time, you know, seeing a ghost here or there. So, but yeah, this stuff works on me, man. It's hard on me. I get genuinely just weirded out, and I have like a high sense of empathy, I think, so I feel like I'm kind of experiencing it, you know, to some degree.
Yeah,
but
100%.
I remember going to see those movies and you know, having to literally like walk and call my mom and say, you know, hey, is it all right if my friend spends the night tonight? Like kind of thing, like, because we were both freaking terrified.
Totally, man. I know exactly what you mean. And
Yeah.
like, once you described, like, once I read the outline for this episode, and I was like, man, dude, ChukTomahawk is at it again with these really good, like, discussion points. And I noticed the nope thing, noping out. And I was like, what? So I immediately, you know, went into Google and did a little, you know, typing in there to check it out. And, you know, it all made sense once I read what it said. Like, it's just when you basically encounter a point, normally in like a scary movie or a scary game of the horror genre, normally, or anything. I mean, you know, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It just, you reach a point where all bets are off. Like, it doesn't matter if it cost a bunch. Like back in the day, you know, it cost some dough to rent a movie if you were going to Blockbuster, or if you were going to a mom and pop rental shop that were, you know, those were very abundant back in the 80s and 90s, and even into the 2000s a little bit. I think they were still around. There's still a couple out there, but anyways, it costs some money to get a video game or a movie, and or perhaps you really, really wanted to see it. It'd been hyped up a bunch, and everyone knows what's going on. You're the only one that hasn't seen it yet or that hasn't played it yet.
Yeah, you've read the back of the package, or you know, it's kind of hyped up on there. Yep. There's like the best scenes, or you know, kind of got pictures from them. Like,
oh man, and you know how good they were at that.
Yeah,
you know, even if, like, we've talked about this in previous episodes about packaging and the graphics and art and everything that they used, like. Whew, they were really good at it. Yeah. You know, our attention spans are a lot shorter these days, and we need all of that online on the video and everything. But anyways, I'm digressing. So, regardless, it doesn't matter. Your all bets are off. There's a particular moment in the game or in the movie or in the series, whatever it may be, where you're just like, to hell with this. And like, either the TV gets turned off, or the VHS cassette gets turned off or ejected, or you're running towards the floor model TV to start turning the switch, you know, the click 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 until it's off, you know, or you leave the room, tell someone else to go turn it off.
Yeah,
man, you know. And so when I connected those dots, I was like, well, shit, that happened to me a long time ago, and I've been living in that way since I can remember. Yeah. The only way you're going to get me into a scary movie is, if I'm going on a date with a lady that really likes scary movies, and, you know, count me in, of course, you know, out of respect, and have a good date and have some fun. But otherwise, I'm going to be like freaking like kind of closing my eyes the whole time.
Yes, thank you.
And I'm not going to go and buy the new Resident Evil. They can remaster it however many times they want. I'm not going to get it. I can barely handle Ark. Yeah. You know, in those scary moments, fighting T-Rexes and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think there's something there, like for sure. And I almost feel like I'm kind of protecting my sanity to a little bit too, like because I'm going to dwell on those things. It's not like I'm just going to watch that and, you know, just be like, wow, that was terrible. I'm glad I'm home now. I'll be, you know, alone later thinking about, like, you know, was that, like, you know, just trying to piece together. A lot of those are kind of like,
you know,
puzzles of sorts, like, you know, who done it type, you know, in the horror thing. And like, yeah, it just messes with me. And, you know, and I think that's the intent, but, and some of the visuals, like that mask from Saw, like,
oh man,
dude, when that skin pops up in Warzone, like, the chances of that dude killing me, like, goes way up, because I'm just terrible. I'm like, fuck, it's that dude. I mean, like, yeah, he's not just gonna shoot me. He's gonna, like, put me in a room somewhere and, like, forced me to eat my leg or something crazy. Like, it's like
got sent to the gulag.
yeah, the gulag's like a chip shot compared to what that guy does to people. I've I think just from clip and popular culture, I've seen scenes from horror movies, and I've heard my girlfriend describe them and things like that, and like, yeah, it's just not for me. It terrifies me, but I do think in this like format, it is kind of fun to look at that and yeah, just I don't know, like talk about the things that like where I've experienced this. I think I've got some great examples of that.
Real quick, like there's a place for this genre. Let's just for the sake of not naming a whole bunch of like subgenres and all that, let's just go ahead and call it survival horror, or just horror or something like that. But there's a place for survival horror. There's a lot of people out there that just love these games and probably even exclusively play scary games. In fact, I have a lady friend that, dude, she just only plays terrifying games and scary games. Like couple of retro games here and there, but like her mainstay is just like, oh yeah, Resident Evil, baby, Silent Hill. What is it? Is it BioShock? I think BioShock, Biohazard, one of those, something like that. Just like, or in the arcade, The House of the Dead. Just all these like, so everyone's different, but in this case, man, I'm telling you, I'm with you. Chuk T and Ovox, baby. We ain't effing with it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's definitely clear, and but we're gonna have some fun with it, and I think we'll just to kind of clue folks in, like I really went about this like trying to look for the scariest moments in video games, and we sort of are going to talk about some of those and some examples of what's kind of had that effect on us. Like I say, a moment where we've noped out. But before we get into that, I kind of wanted to put together like, sort of just what we'd been up to and what's going on in the news of gaming lately. And I didn't really see, any major like new releases or anything that knocked me over the head, other than the fact that, I think Modern Warfare is kind of coming out. Like you can play the multiplayer part of that, and you've got Warzone.
Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. And then, I think here it's coming up around November 16th, we're going to be able to play Warzone 2, as I understand it.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think so, man. I'm yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to take a minute here and kind of talk about what we've seen about Warzone 2 and also on the horizon, something I think we'll both end up playing and that I'm looking forward to when it's finally out is Arc 2. So yeah, I kind of put together a little what I call the trick or treat section here, and kind of wanted to talk about some of the latest stuff that's coming out with these games and the latest like things I've saw where people are analyzing the trailers and a little bit of leaked gameplay. Like since Modern Warfare 2 has come out, I'm starting to see a ton of leaked gameplay. And also now
I don't think it's leaked.
Well, like right up before it seemed like it like in that last week it really ramped up, and now you're seeing actual gameplay that part of I think is definitely going to transfer over into Warzone. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
I thought it'd be fun to talk about that. So maybe if
you want to be able to play as Alejandro, don't you?
Yeah, man, I'm excited.
That's one of the, just for the listeners, if you haven't seen any of the Warzone 2, or excuse me, Call of, what is it? Modern Warfare 2. Yeah. Is it Modern Warfare 2?
I want to say
I think it's Modern Warfare 2.
There's like the campaign and the multiplayer.
And the multiplayer, yeah,
is out right now. So
Alejandro is a character in the campaign.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because they go to Mexico, dude.
Dang. I have a good friend, Alejandro. I went to Mexico with once. Yeah, that would be fun. I haven't saw that exactly. I want my, what is it? What is the big guy that like the Lurch that like was several games back? I can't, since I switched from console to PC, I can't have my dude anymore. Like,
Dang, yeah, I know that feeling because I couldn't get my growl anymore.
Yeah, you can't really even go back. Like when you look at him in the operators list, it's like, buy this battle pass that, was 5 seasons ago or something. It just can't be done. So yeah, I'm kind of. I wish I'd
between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, I wish I had actually gotten the Snoop Dogg. Really, I may still do that. I honestly think I'd have some fun with that. But
well, it ain't nothing but a G thing, baby.
That's right. Yeah. It's almost like the opposite effect. When I see somebody coming with a Snoop Dogg, I'm not even mad if they kill me. But that Saw dude, man, he's just terrifying. But like, why don't we start like a little bit with what we're kind of seeing with Warzone? Have you watched any of the gameplay or saw like the? I know we had a trailer that came out about a month ago.
Well, come on, man! You can't say trick or treat and then not offer me the sweets, baby. Like, what's the setup here? You got any anything particular you want me to trick or treat on there?
How about I'll mention like something I heard, and you tell me if you think it's legit, like it's a trick, it's a treat. It's like it's actually going to be a fun part
legit.
of the game. Or if you think it's just hype and it's just part of the like the actual video that they made for that trailer, and it's not going to be an actual part of the game, or it's just crap in general, like a crap idea.
Well, hold on. Like I'm gonna. Steven Ranella always does this in his podcast on the Meat Eater. He's like, well, no, let's be clear. Let's.
Dude, I told you that high scores on a video game from 82 is a public record, so I'm with you, brother. Like, let's do it.
Are the game mechanics that you're gonna present to me actually like they're gonna be in the game, and it's gonna be trick if I don't think they'll be fun, treat if I do think they'll be fun? Or are you saying trick or treat in regard to whether or not I think that's actually going to be real in the game?
I think the first way you described it, whether you think it'll be fun or not, and I could see whether it turns out like that in the game being a factor in one of those decisions, but yeah, the way you described it there.
All right, I'm excited. Let's do this. Lay it on me, Chuck. Yeah.
All right. Well,
do you want a drum roll?
Yeah, lay it on me. Lay it on.
once you finish the question, I'm gonna do a drum roll.
All right. So the first category here is going to be sort of camper countermeasures. So like I've got my Carhartt camper shirt on, and there's gonna be some things that they're putting in the game to sort of address that, and we all know what camping is. That's like where you just sort of post up in a room there or around a corner and just wait for people to walk around, and I think if you further analyze it, people think that doesn't take as much skill as sort of winning an out and out gunfight, I guess, but yeah. So the first one is proximity chat, trick or treat. And what I mean by proximity chat is that even though we're not playing together, and we encounter each other on the field of battle, whether it's on Rebirth or Battle Royale, like you're going to be able to talk to me, like I'm in that room around the corner or whatever, like and once you're close enough, you'll be able to talk to me and manipulate that situation.
All right,
trick.
Here's the
treat.
Drum roll. Oh gosh, Chuck, I'm so torn on this because I camp hardcore.
Well, so okay, I'll help you decide.
I already know. I know. No, I decide.
Okay.
This is my.
Well,
my
I was just going to do like a role play for you. Like,
I say. Oh no! Keep your clothes on. I say treat. I say treat, even though I'm guilty of camping.
Yeah, okay.
I say treat. I think that's going to be great. I mean, let's be honest, right? We can be completely honest. Like Warzone has I hope it's a minority, but there is a toxic, at least in the chat, there can be some toxic people out there that I bet in real life would never talk the way they do in games sometimes. And I hope it's the minority. I hope most people aren't like that. But, you can run into some nasty people of all ages in the chat. And, that's not going to go away anyways. So, whatever, you just, brush away, not give it any regard. But yeah, I think that'll be awesome. Hopefully it won't be taken advantage of for slurs and trashing people and all that, but hopefully it'll be designed in a way where it'll just enable a squad or a team that's like maybe entering a building or entering a weak a choke point or entering like passing a window. It'll enable them to be able to just hear those people maybe without them exchanging chat necessarily. We'll see how that goes out, but if that's the way it works, that's a treat.
Yeah, I wonder how would
in my opinion.
Will there have? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I have a lot of questions that kind of come out of that.
I
but
think
that's a fair answer, and I definitely see why you're torn.
Dude, I love sitting on the towers and just using my PKM to just like with 200 rounds and a monolithic suppressor to just like someone will be running, even if they're just running a short distance, if they're exposed for enough time, and I'm playing on PC and I got that PKM with the VLK scope on the top, dude. Good luck. You're not getting you're not going to get from A to B. Mucha suerte. Adios. Just.
Vaya con Dios.
Feliz Día de los Muertos, perro. Sorry. Hey, if there's any, any listeners out there south of the border, the Dia de los Muertos is coming up, so Feliz Dia de los Muertos. Con mucho amor from New Wave Gaming.
Yo también.
Sí, señor. All right, next one, Chuck. Hit me. I'm ready, baby.
All right. The next one is word on the street is there's going to be a step counter. So this will mean that we've gotten to the end of the game and I've won, and I'm assuming that the second place and the few people that are still in, haven't left the game yet are going to be able to see how many steps I took during the game. So it's really going to be
what do you mean steps?
I think it'll literally be like how many steps how much ground you've covered during the game. So it's not going to, be a penalty really. It's not going to take health away from you or necessarily inhibit the gameplay, but it's going to kind of be on that respect meter, I think.
Well, hold on. Can you go back to the beginning again and repeat what you said at the beginning? They're going to put in a step meter so that
a step counter and
a step counter.
I don't have the exact specifics of how this works, but the way I'm assuming that it works is that at the end of the game, when the winner is shown, it's going to show how many steps they've taken during the game, and so it's a clout sort of thing, like
whoever makes the least amount of movement is like the dopest.
I think it's the opposite. It's like if you have literally sat in the same spot the entire game, it's going to take away from your victory.
I see. Trick. I don't see any. Who cares? I don't care.
Yeah.
If whoever won. I mean, as far as I'm concerned. And also like maybe if they did it so that everyone had a step counter. Like for example, if they just added it in as a line item or a column. You know how when you hit start and you can see how you're doing, your damage points, your kills, your downs, and then maybe if they added your steps, cool, for everyone. And then at the end, if they throw that up on there for the winners, well cool, whatever. But like, I would consider it more of a treat if it was for everyone and integrated as a column, so that we can all see like, oh man, you know what? I've really improved my my aggressive gameplay. I've gotten out there a lot more. I haven't been just posting up in these spots that I'm super familiar with. Not that you shouldn't be familiar with the whole map, but you know what I mean? Like, you're not as stagnant. You're moving out there aggressively, engaging other players and getting those kills.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
yeah. Let me retract that. It's a treat if they do it that way. If they do it the other way, and it's just for the winner or the overall winner or winners of a round, then I'm indifferent. I don't care.
I see. Yeah, I feel like I'm right there with you. I think it's nice that it's there, to maybe point out and maybe that if there is that little bit of chat at the end of the game, it's something to latch onto and possibly, use it to your advantage. But it's kind of like a mixed thing depending on how it works out and how they end up implementing it. But all right, well they've got I saw like a couple more things that they're doing for these are somewhat related, so I'll just kind of throw them both at you at the same time here as far as trick or treat.
Throw them at my
goes.
face as hard as you can.
Right to the dome. I saw something like you're gonna be able to throw thermites through the floor. That's actually in the trailer even. So I'll be able to be in a building, and you could be one level up above me. And, I'm assuming I've gotten a bead on where I think you're hiding, and I can just yuck a thermite up through the floor. And then I also saw...
That sounded funny. That sounded funny.
Yeah. And I also saw EMPs are known, so you can kind of... Those are like again, like where you've set up a bunch of mines and stuff like that to
Did you say yuck earlier?
Yeah, it's like a different
I could
part.
yuck
it's kind of like yeeting
thermite.
something, but it's not as far. Like if you yeet something, that's a long way. But if you just
I thought you were using a new Chuk version of yeet. Yuck. You can yuck a thermite up, yo.
I think we might have reached our first Chuk point in this episode.
Ladies, yeah. Wait, Chuk point? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
I feel like if we're at a point like where it's just not making a lot of sense, just go with it, man. Like it's a Chuk point, like kind of like a checkpoint. Like we'll regroup.
Like when we start going down a rabbit hole or like completely deviating from the main topic.
That's right.
Chuk point.
Yeah,
I get it.
And my short-term memory has no chance of remembering what I was just talking about. But in this case, I can do it because I'm a pro podcaster, and we're here with trick or treat, and like I say, thermites through the floor. How about it? Like hot to the rack, right in your groin. You're over there.
I like that. I think it's a treat. I'm excited to see that. This is all of these things I had no idea about. I'm really behind the loop on this Warzone too. That sounds interesting. Because I know that there's tech out there that the military use to blast through doors and stuff. Yeah. But it's no like, as far as my understanding is, which obviously I could be totally wrong, is it's not like something really fast. Like they have to like line a thermite, like kind of like a outline. We've seen it in movies before. They'll put like an outline of this stuff.
Yeah.
And then they'll just blow it. That might not be thermite. That'd be some sort of explosive. But I've seen like it in movies. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it is in the game. It sounds like you said it's already out there on video. I'll have to check it out then because
I think
I'm just behind the loop here.
Yeah.
Like, what did it look like?
It looked pretty
Sounds
cool.
like you saw it.
It looked pretty cool. It looked like, something you can do to sort of flush them out, I guess. I could picture like, it's being squatted up and you kind of getting over there at the stairs looking up into the next level where they're at and, me yucking that thermite up his butt and him having to step forward whether he likes it or not, and his ass is already on fire and you can, finish him off.
I see. I'm gonna watch the video or look for it. I'm gonna look for it.
And like I say, as far as the other one I saw is like like one of our tactics I've seen us use is we'll kind of get posted up in a room and put mines at all the doors. And this EMP thing I saw, it was kind of like they're gonna have a thing where they can just pretty much disarm those right before they go in, like in an area of effect, I assume.
Okay. Well, I know they got an EMP type grenade already in Warzone. But I've never been kind of fond of it. I haven't used it that much. So, and regardless, treats. Those are treats. I mean, that just makes the game so much more unpredictable and dynamic. You know, like so many more different fun moments can organically arise and happen when you have more stuff to use and to kind of switch up the gameplay, you know, where normally you just be like, all right, let's just, you know, lob a bunch of grenades up there, go up full force and clear the corners or whatever it may be, and hopefully everyone makes it. You know, or whatever the best strategy may be. But this will just create more options. That'll be cool. That's a treat, rather.
Okay. The next like sort of things, I'll just kind of more go random topics here instead of everything kind of being about camping. There's kind of like a couple of interesting things I saw where the gulag, like you're familiar with the sort of, we're playing battle royale and you've died and your buddies are still playing and you've got to go to the gulag to sort of get a chance to rebirth yourself.
That's right.
And the gulag, I think, is going to be 2v2. And there's going to possibly be a jailer that's also like an NPC of sorts that you interact with. And so yeah, trick or treat.
Can you give me any more information about the jailer? Let me answer this. Let me half answer your question. Let me half answer your question.
All right.
Treat. 2v2 in the gulag. Pepe Tortilla and myself. ChukTomahawk and myself. Deadly. Most deadly.
Yeah.
And myself. Yeah, I'd feel pretty good in there. Now the jailer thing, you got to give me some more tidbits.
Well,
do you have any more intel?
I don't, and I don't know this for a fact, but I'm kind of assuming that it's you and a random, because I feel like the boys are still up in the game, and unless you both died at the same time and somehow, just by luck of the draw, I think end up in this, it's going to,
Well, do you mean a co-gulager or gulagi, or do you mean like there's going to be a jailer NPC in the gulag that you can interact with? That's kind of where I got confused.
I'm saying like a co-gulagi and the jailer being a much more side kind of thing. Like I don't have a lot of intel about the jailer, but I'm assuming your interactions with him may be more during that waiting period. Like when till it's your turn to fight, and then once you do fight, you have a co-gulagi, I think, that are going against you and two other folks, and it'll probably speed that process up. I would imagine. The wait time will be less.
Yep. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just treat that across the board.
Yeah.
Especially the 2v2 if you can go in there 2v2. But we'll see how that works. Like, because what if it's quads or trios? Even if let's just say this. Let's just say it's 2v2 and you don't know who you're gonna get paired up with. I initially want to say I don't care. That's dope. Let's get it. Let's get after it. Let's go. But you could just maybe 3 out of 10 times get paired up with someone that's just not got their head in the game. To say the least. You never. Life is like a box of chocolates. Never know what you're gonna get.
No, you don't.
Right?
No. It seems like I always get the sweaty dude when I'm fighting them, but yeah, I'm sure my partner in there would be less than I would desire. I can see that now. Like, what are you doing?
Just completely AFK, and you're like, all right, let's go. And you're looking over at him, and he's just like.
Well, yeah, and like when you die, you probably will start like spectating him, so you'll get that real good if you die first, so. Which listeners, by the way, is like when I'm playing with Ovox is like speaking of scary moments in video games. when he's spectating you better be on your you getting it done. Like,
what are you saying? I'm judgmental?
No,
because I am sometimes, and I apologize for that. I try to make it constructive.
Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I literally just watched you run around in circles. That was painful to watch. I think.
I don't say it like that, do I? Don't I just... No, man.
Like,
gosh.
I was just trying to play
I want to say none of that's true.
I was just like... No, man. I love that you drive like the best out of me. It's like because the opposite of that's when it goes well. But yeah.
And whenever stuff like that happens, man, I'll always end up like I'll go onto YouTube and look like how to better your aim on PC in Warzone. Share, ChukTomahawk, send.
Some patronizing like comment. It's like, hey, just this doesn't have anything to do with spectating you there.
But trick or treat.
I found this really helpful.
Yeah. My game got better instantly.
Yeah, 5 years ago.
Would you like some slaps?
Oh God! I noticed it. Yeah, you definitely. It's intense, and I love that though. I've been playing some FIFA lately, and it's like it crosses my mind like, what would Ovox do here? Like it's like these guys are like just too lax, they're not taking this serious enough. But
you would destroy me in FIFA. It'd take me a couple of games to kind of just remember the general dynamics of the controller schemes. Is that how you pronounce that? Schemes? Sheems?
Yeah.
Shems? Skems?
Setups like
I'm gonna say skemmies just for the hell of it. I'd have to take me a little bit to get used to those controller skemmies, but yeah, after that I'd probably be able to back you up.
God,
I'll get the ball to you, and you can get the goal in.
Dude, I'll go Chuk.
Here it comes, Chuk. Goal.
I'll go on a 30-second FIFA rant here. Here's what's crazy is like I literally think I could win the World Championship if people would just do like short passes, but everyone wants to get the ball and kind of show out for a second and then pass it. But when I play like by myself against the computer, like I literally just like pass it like a ping pong ball, and like it works every time. And like that's all that needs to happen. But when you're in the drop-in matches, dude, everybody wants to throw it the view skill moves in and flare pass it, and it's just like. It looks cool, but it's a waste of time. But
that just reminds me of middle school, Pass the damn ball. You're hogging the ball. Yeah. Pass the ball.
Yeah, especially even with your friends. Like yeah. Soccer never was my like real life sport, but God, I love playing it on the like the pro clubs part of that game is just so much fun. I've been nailing it lately, but that's the end of that rant. But all right,
Chuk
I've got
point.
one more Warzone trick or treat for you. This is pretty cool now. Okay, so we're at the end of the game, or actually during the game. You know how the smoke comes in, and you've sort of got the circle, like the safety circle that you kind of everybody keeps, having to push into.
Yeah. I like that safety circle.
I've heard is going to split into 3, and like there'll be 3 areas that are safe that merge at the end of the game. So the likelihood, I think, of your full squad still being together at the end, has kind of increased. It's almost like, it's like 3 winners of that sort of situation will get to fight each other.
Wow. I was not expecting that curveball. And are you trick-or-treating me that?
Trick or treat.
Drum roll, please. I'm just pounding my chest. Obviously, you guys can tell. But Gosh, man. See, I want to be contrarian just to bring some flavor into the calls on this, but I think that's a treat. I'm trying to Lex Friedman this, I might say, because he's always saying, I'm going to push back on this. Or I'm going to, I'm going to strong, I want to push back on this, but as long as the circles converge and there's an ultimate winner. See, I'm really rubbing my hands here. I'm trying to think of something that could be negative with this. But I don't know. It sounds interesting. Treat.
Yeah, I think so too. It's
you got a basket full of treats over there, Chuk.
It is a solid treat. It's all smiles over here. But I what I'm picturing is like somehow I end up in the opposite circle of where you and Pepe Tortilla are. Guys,
they're right there, guys.
On me. Yeah.
And then we come through the mic. Like, we're in another circle.
Guys, do you guys get gas mask? Yeah, and then having to make that run through the smoke to get over to you.
Oh, man. You pop through the other side. Hey, man, where you been?
Out of plates, like stemming my way across through there.
Just med penning it over here.
Yeah. Went through 2 ammo boxes. And home armor. I'm all right.
Airstrikes. Cluster strike.
Yeah.
The horror.
Yeah. There's always unexpected consequences, but no, that's fun, man. I'm excited to see this. I'm honestly ready to get into the multiplayer. I just haven't sat down to download it yet for Warzone and for Modern Warfare 2. That's I think already released. But,
Most Deadly was asking me if I was going to get the campaign, and I mean, originally I was just default no, probably not, because I'm only interested in Warzone 2. And yeah, I'm talking about Modern Warfare 2 campaign mode. Or the full game. Let's just call it the full game. But yeah, some of the video out there, like I watched the game ranks before you buy video. Just talking to you here, I might get it. It sounds pretty. They're usually pretty short, those campaigns, but they're fun, man. They're really fun. And I know that they go into Mexico on this one, and there's a Mexican Special Forces operator with them throughout the whole game. I think his name's Alejandro. That's why I was asking you at the beginning, like, you want to be Alejandro. Because, dude, he's a badass. And, he's a handsome dude, kicks ass. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I might get it. I'm excited for Warzone 2 and for Modern Warfare 2. Hands down.
Too. I hope you do. Especially for leveling up guns is one of the most useful things. I mean, it's tough to just do that solely in Warzone. There's
Chuk, all I need is you to level me up, bud. Whenever we game together, I feel I'm leveling up consistently. I feel leveled up.
There's a map.
And we haven't been gaming as much these days.
No, I haven't been doing Arc. I've been back on FIFA, and I'm we did get a few rounds of Warzone in, I guess, about a week ago, but
yeah, that was quick and sexy.
Yeah.
Well, you got any more trick or treats for our dear listeners?
Let's do a couple quick ones from Arc 2, and we'll kind of get into the meat and potatoes of the discussion. But as far as scary moments in video games go, but I'm seeing, I'm even though I'm not playing Arc, I am like looking at Arc 2, and I do feel like at some point we're going to end up playing that. If it turns out really well, and I think I'm kind of biased, like I'm going to say treat on anything about it, because I'm just like pumped to see where it goes. And
you're biased AF.
So
as the young kids say.
let's like keep that. Yeah. No shit. Whatever. I know what that means. I got the Urban Dictionary, but yeah, the information's like pretty slim. Like I think back in June or so, they pretty much like decided that even though they'd announced it would release in 2022, that was backed up to 2023. And I think a lot of the attitude of the community is just, take all the time you need. Like, we wanted to get this right and get the bugs out, but yeah, there's enough like sort of leaks, sort of people analyzing the trailers and that kind of thing. And in one of our past episodes, I think we talked a little bit about this, even in the first person, third person thing kind of came up, and I'm going to assume that's a solid like trick for you, like not a treat. Yeah.
That's a solid trick.
Yeah.
And I'm going to reserve any swear words that I was almost about to say about when I heard about that horrible idea.
Yeah. And if I have to weigh in on that, I feel like it won't come to fruition. Like I feel like, almost any game I play now, even that soccer game, like I can view, like if I go back and do the replay, I can view it from all sorts of camera angles and stuff. And I just feel like it wouldn't be that hard to include it. And, I think...
well, no, because they already we got to be careful not to reach a Chuk point here, but...
Throwing the brakes.
But they can do it because they already did. The regular Ark Survival Evolved can be played in first person and third person. And there's a satellite camera view that you can play in.
Yeah. That's what makes me think that it's going to happen, or it'll be like one of the first mods that happens, especially if you're playing on PC. So it'll go by the wayside. But how about this? What the next trick or treat? I think besides that point is they're talking about this soul style combat melee system, and what I can kind of take away from that is there's going to be some tucks and rolls like kind of involved in it. I think like I haven't played a lot of those Souls games, so I think it's going to be a little different than what we've experienced thus far.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So look, let's unpack this. Trick or treat. Trick
or treat.
Drum roll. No, we're not gonna keep doing that. But in that episode, I don't remember which one it was, but I was pretty clear. Like, Ark Survival Evolved, the first game, which is, in my opinion, like a masterpiece in its own way. It has defects and it has little, kinks here and there, but anything does, all masterpieces do. There's nothing that's like, perfection is a hard one to define, right? For everyone's different. So it was a very successful game, and it was very successful because of the formula that they have. There's kinks, but the general formula is a winner. The game is extremely complex and extremely, it's a very deep game. There's so much stuff you can do in it. From taming dinosaurs to breeding them down to their, what is it? Not their genetics, but their lineage and stuff and all of that. And then just from the harvesting and the survival, it's a very amazing game. And it was a very successful game, and it continues to be. There's always tons of people playing it on every single platform. Pretty much. So when I heard about them saying, anyways, so part of this is when you're engaging an animal, or you're engaging perhaps an enemy player, it really is, the best man will win. It's kind of like a circle of life thing, like the prey and the predator. You basically have two predators engaging themselves, and whoever's better will survive. And when I say that, it's built around a mechanic of a real free mechanic where there's no lock-on systems, there's no aim assists. There's no, at least I don't think there are, but it's very free movement. Uh-huh. You got to be a skillful player. It takes time to get good at PvP in that game. It takes time to get good at engaging with the creatures and taming them and escaping them and evading them and learning how to kite them and and like you might be getting chased by a frickin' wyvern dragon, but even if you're on foot and you have time, you may be able to dodge it by running under a brontosaurus. Those are all free movements. There's no locking on. There's no locking on and then rolling to that target or strafing, or I mean there's strafing, but it's all free strafe. You know what I mean? So without diving into that too much more deep, I think everyone understands what I'm getting at. Like, because of that freedom, a lot of the strategy that we use in the game is built around that. A lot of our engagements are built around the fact that we know there's free movement. You know, we craft certain things and learn to use them based off that, you know, our like all of it. I could keep going and going and going. So if what they're talking about is just adding like a couple of functions or buttons you can click and it'll make your character like roll or slide, okay, I could see that. Might be useful. We might be able to integrate it into our organic play of the game while we're building our tribes up and preparing for raiding and all that, and exploring we'll see what Arc 2 delivers. But if they make it like this full-fledged like lock on slash kill one guy, move, like lock on to the next, roll up to him, execute a combo, unlock, go to the next, you know, that just in my view that would completely destroy not just, I don't want to be too like, oh, you know, dramatic or overly, you know, but it would be a huge deviation from what Ark Survival Evolved is and its DNA. So I'm going to go ahead and say trick.
Yeah, I think that's an incredibly thorough answer. And honestly, you taught me some things there. I'd thought about this and you know, watched Nublet's video a few times and you know.
Yeah, he's not feeling it.
He's definitely not. And I as I'm thinking about this, I'm kind of seeing like sort of one of the other things I've kind of picked up on from the trailer and people's analysis of it is that there's going to be almost like tribes that are NPC tribes that you engage with at some point. And I'm almost
that'll be cool.
I'm almost feeling like there's maybe an attempt by the game to sort of like maybe affect that learning curve of PvP, because I know for myself, like I feel like I have a few thousand hours into Ark now, and as far as real PvP encounters, like, you know, what have I had, like 15 or 20 of them at this point? Like you know, I mean, it takes a long time to get that sort of, you know, I'm not saying I couldn't have devised a way to seek them out a little more, but you know, in a sort of building up for battle and in, you know, engaging and you know, just at a sort of what I call a normal, you know, part-time player sort of pace, like it takes a while to get those experiences that you're talking about. And I wonder if that,
I don't mean to jump in, but I think we have to be clear, especially for any fellow Ark players out there that are going like, I don't know about that, but this is on private servers. Mm-hmm. It takes a while where we've been playing, but if you and I signed into an official server, I guarantee you the PvP would come swiftly. We wouldn't be waiting that long, just because there's so many people on the official servers always. And there's alpha tribes and there's beta tribes. Like, I mean, you can find servers on official that are low pop, but man, I have many a broken hearts on official servers. Just one day in, you get a good start. You're like, all right, man, I got some level. I got some engrams unlocked. I got a stone little base going. I'm hidden. I got good cover. This is a low transit spot. No one's gonna see me, you know. And you'll just wake up the next morning, dude, and someone just came and like C4'd your wall, got in, just took what little loot you were able to get on that first day, and you're just like, God. It's my first day. Come on. All I had was a dodo. And they killed it.
Yeah. And I guess like I agree, but I would say to really get those, especially like say, you know, tech like experience and you know, some of the later stage, you know, sort of how that PvP unfolds, like Man, it's just been like of all those times I've played, it's only been a few times that I got up to tech really even, and I still don't know what the crap it does, to be honest with you. Like I mean, a little bit, but it's like, okay, but yeah. So
I remember when we all got tech suits and we were like, Chuck, there's a tech suit for you in the vault. And you're like, all right. Oh, cool.
I love it when that happens. Like, it's like, yeah. Yeah, it's a deep game, and yeah, I'm excited to see. I'm glad they're doing something with the combat, and hope they sort of, keep everyone happy. But well, I guess maybe let's wrap this up with just dinos in general. Like, do you think?
Here, I got one for you. May I?
Sure.
Arc 2 is being developed on the Unreal Engine 5 and is rumored to going to be looking amazing. Trick or treat. Drum roll, please.
I don't have to think long about that one. I'm definitely going to say treat. Like
with a capital T.
Dude, it's going to look sick. I saw look really sick. Like the things that stood out to me were just sort of like reflections on the water and just an overall, like, more detailed it looked like. But that also made me think, how big is that thing? What kind of computer am I going to have to run that thing?
No, remember, because we talked about Unreal Engine 5 and some of its characteristics. Remember, we talked about, I mean, we don't need to go down that rabbit hole, but the way it's designed, the actual engine, it doesn't actually result. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I can't speak from experience here, but the way I understood it when watching the developers of the Unreal Engine talk about it, there's videos out there on YouTube. They were, from what I understood, trying to indicate that even though they had all this powerful, this powerful engine, that it wouldn't actually be an actual like burden on your storage. Okay. So we'll see. So yeah, I mean, otherwise they, it can't be unreasonable, but it's gonna look amazing on your PC, man. It's gonna look amazing on console.
Yeah.
I'll hopefully have a PS5 by the time that drops. Hopefully. Jeez.
I saw like where they're starting to show up, like at just Walmarts and stuff now in stock here in the United States. So
damn.
Yeah, it's starting to be a little more available. But yeah, I'll just kind of wrap up the ARC section of our trick or treat with there's kind of a screenshot you can sort of take at the end of the trailer video where there's some cave paintings, and folks are looking at those and saying, oh, well, that means that dino is going to be in the new game, and I kind of take it that way. I scoured those walls for the Cinemacrops, and he's so small I can't really make him out. But
yeah, you sent me that, and you asked me, you're like, Ovox, man, I really need your help here. Can you make out it's for any fellow ARC survivors out there like Chuck and I. Chuck is obsessed, fond with the Cinemacrops, which is totally understandable. It's a overpowered tame to have in that game. But so he sends me that picture, and he's like, "Can you make him out anywhere in there? Please tell me he's in there." And I was just looking. I was like, "Man, I don't know," but I definitely see a Petey, a pterodon. Or what do you call him? A petrodon?
Yeah. Terry. I like the name of pterodon and spell it with a P. But yeah, a pterodon, a petrodon, I think was what I called it for the longest time.
I call them Peteys. Anyways. Yeah.
No,
so
you see the Rex, I think, and it looks like obviously a Bronto. I think I saw maybe an Ankylosaurus in there for sure with the tail kind of thing there, but it's hard to really make them out. But I see tribes there, like I think those NPCs are represented in that. It looks like, and
yeah, there's tribes. There's a Bronto with a saddle on it. It looks like there's a weapon on this Bronto saddle, like a huge cannon of sorts. Do you see that?
Yeah, people keep like obsessing over like thinking there's going to be armor for the dinosaurs, and I feel like they're just skins that they're showing. But
well, there is armor. There's the saddles, and the saddles have armor.
Yeah.
Or do you mean like a more complex armor system?
Yeah, like almost like I put like a coat of armor over him. There's that picture of Santiago with Vin Diesel up on top of a big old Rex, and it's got, almost
it's got like some crazy bone arm.
Yeah, if you took bones and hide and made it, into some armor.
Dude, that'll be sick.
Yeah, I think the takeaway from both these subjects, Warzone 2 and Ark, is treat is the overall. I think as I'm gathering from as we've sort of dissected these smaller parts, that it's a fun time to be a gamer, man. It's a
fun time to be a gamer. I think Warzone is going to be a treat and a half, and I think Ark 2 is going to be a treat, but it could very easily be a trick in my eyes. We'll see what happens. I hope Wildcard hears this podcast, because we love them, but we want to have just a better, more dope ass version of the first Ark, right? That's what sequels are for.
Yeah. I've got a lot of hopes in it, and I think
don't go getting cray.
I'll make it work. I'm here for it. So whatever it.
We're gonna get it.
However it turns out, I'm gonna be knee deep in it.
Don't make me pull out my
holy
zombie kill. Damn. Sorry, Chuck. Did you just? Sorry.
Got an ascendant machete over there.
Yeah, I got myself. Yeah, dude. I had to go into the depths of some of them island caves to get that bad boy.
Well, so let's kind of transition over here into the sort of the main part of our discussion as far as scary moments in video games. I kind of want to open us up with I feel like one of the things I can add to our podcast is being alive there in the 80s and playing video games, and I can remember Castlevania was probably the first game that. I don't want to tie this to it too much, but I will say that, I was in Tennessee and I was in the Bible Belt, and there was a tiny part of me that thought, this might, not look good in the eyes of the Lord or something like that. That I was playing.
Like playing Castlevania?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
I mean, dude, it's a pretty thin line there in that area. I get it. For real. Like I didn't want to, get about 2 levels into lines. It, and have to finish it and then, spend eternal damnation or something.
It's okay, man. There were a lot of lines being broken back in the 80s.
Who's there? The Lord.
The Lord. I remember that. That was a good episode. That was from an episode of, what was it? This past weekend?
Yeah.
With Theo Von?
Thank you.
Gosh, that's a funny one. Knock, knock. Who's there?
The Lord. That's growing up in East Tennessee, and I'm at the Walmart or the Kmart, I think it was, and I'm buying a Kiss album, that Kiss Animalize album, like and
dang, man, you were testing the waters.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Going straight to hell. So
Happy Halloween.
Yeah, so I think that was the fear. It wasn't so much that the game, but every now and then you saw a cross or something in there, and it put the spook on me for sure.
Well, here, real quick, just for fun, let me give our dear listeners a quick description of what a survival horror game is. I'm going to activate a cheat code via Google. That's what we, whenever we activate cheat codes on this podcast, we just basically what we mean is we're cheating. We're going to Google. So I'm going to bring this up. It's from a mediawiki.middlebury.edu page. So credit to them. Thank you for letting us read from this article. Not that, I'm just reading from it. I just pulled it up. Hopefully we're not breaking any rules. Anyways, it says that the survival horror game genre is in many ways defined not by its mechanics, but rather by its emphasis on overarching thematics and tones. Several key elements of traditional survival horror games set them distinctly apart from games of other genres. Importantly, a central aspect in survival horror is the helplessness and vulnerability of the main character. By emphasizing the weakness of the character and the contrasting power of the enemy, the genre forces the player to adopt a more prey-like attitude than in most mainstream games. Excuse me. Through the character, horror elements are targeted at the player to cause effects similar to those in a horror film, such as suspense, stress, and vulnerability, among others. Man, that's reading that now out loud, and when I mentioned the prey-like dynamic, that's so true, man. You do. You feel like you're total prey. Like at any moment, the game is just gonna swallow you up. Hence the nope.
I saw one of them. I was researching. It was like you basically just had a light, like you had a flashlight or a lantern or something in your hand. And I mean, there's no knife or gun or.
I hated that, man. I hated that about horror games.
Yeah, you just got to run for it essentially, and
yeah, they kind of like make you run for it until you get to a certain point, and they might be like, "Oh, look, I found a knife. Pick up the knife," and then you got to face another like crazy onslaught of like tremendously strong enemies, and eventually they might throw like a pistol your way with like 3 rounds. Like, what is this?
A couple silver bullets.
What is this? Yeah. Oh, great. Everything's okay now.
Yeah, don't tell you got to save it for the werewolves that are all about to bust out 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
You end up wasting a couple target practice ones.
Well, I got one left. And this is the 80s or the 90s, so we all know how the game saving dynamics work. Great.
Might as well use it on yourself. Nope. I'm noping out.
Yep. Resident Evil? Resident Bye.
Yeah. No doubt. Yeah. I honestly, I kind of read, some of that article as well, and it really did me good to sort of have it defined because, like you said, we noped out so long ago in these situations that, I can't tell you exactly how they play out, but I did, for my search for the scariest moments in video games, I did have to watch some sort of gameplay type YouTube videos that
yeah, man, I know.
Still recouping from, but
Roger that. Let me drop another little historic tidbit before we continue our scares here. The 80s were the foundational years, and I'm reading from the Middlebury article. It says here, perhaps the first survival horror game, video game was the 1982 Haunted House, released for the Atari 2600. Chuck, did you ever play that one?
I remember it, but I don't remember playing it. I remember it existed. Now, as far as
so you didn't even cross paths with it, and you were already like, nope. Anyways, reading
Roger
on.
That.
Atari 2600, which incorporated many traditionally accepted elements of the genre, like puzzle solving and evasion. Throughout the 80s, a series of games were released that fell under the banner of survival horror. However, the genre survival horror was not defined until the 90s, so all of these games were included in the genre retroactively. At the time, they were likely considered to be action games, of which survival horror came to be a subgenre. Notable examples from this decade include the Monster Bash arcade game, Castlevania, released in 1986,
that was the one I
War
played.
of the Dead, 1987, and Splatterhouse, 1988. Let's see. Oh, hold on one quick. Considered by many to be the first true survival horror game, Sweet Home was released in gosh, that just sounds creepy. Sweet Home was released in 1989 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. The game embraced the majority of the themes that pervaded the subsequent survival horror games, most notably vulnerability, limited inventory, overpowered enemies, and a pieced-together retroactive storyline. Importantly, Sweet Home directly inspired the later game Resident Evil.
Nope.
Nope. Chuck's about to turn off the podcast. Sorry, man.
No, he's evil residing over here. I'm noping out right there. Wow.
Anyways, what about you? What we were talking about, scary moments, right?
Yeah, I found I kept seeing these videos where they sort of go into like the top ones, and a lot of this obviously is somewhat subjective, but I did see some that kept showing up. But as far as myself, like I say on my low threshold, I remember getting scared in Castlevania, and I would say right around that same time, or maybe even just a little before it. I talked about a game called Swords and Serpents. It was kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons sort of game for Intellivision.
Rings a bell.
And there was these serpents in there that would just come out of nowhere, and it'd go like make this noise, it scared the shit out of me. It was like a jump scare, I guess. That one of the first games you would see. It kind of had this way, like where you were navigating these tunnels, and you could only see right where you were at, and so you couldn't see what was right in the next sort of screen that you were going to, and man, those serpents would just literally scare the living crap out of me.
Yeah, that's a good way to take advantage of those old, the old style graphics. Was it like a screen to screen game?
It was one of the first, honestly. So that was new, and it really added to that. You've got the stress of you're almost out of men, and you've made it to this part that there's not any real good save system, like we made clear. Like so, you're gonna have to come back, and then all of a sudden you're just like hearing your ass get ate by that noise. Like,
How was it?
I can't even really recreate it, but it was just something more like
recreate it.
You're just like it was like this initial loud thing followed by like you're just being eaten. And that was not fun to hear, but that would scare the shit out of me. Like, do you remember like kind of the first time getting scared, sort of from a video game, or having an experience like that? Like not even to the level of even saying like having to nope out, but just something that jump scares, that kind of thing, or There were some levels in Super Mario Land on the original Game Boy that startled me, that made me feel uneasy. I think I saw some footage of that.
Yeah, there's some creatures in that game that would make me feel uneasy, that would scare me. And there was also in the Super Mario World on the Nintendo Entertainment System. You know how like there's sometimes you'll go into the dungeons and there'll be like lava?
Uh-huh.
When I was a little kid, and I'm talking little because I think that game came out in 85 or something, or 84, 85 in the US, 85 I think it was. But so I remember playing that, I don't know, somewhere around 89, 90. I was like 3, or maybe 91. I was 4. And at that point, anything will scare you pretty easy when you're 4. So yeah, I remember playing those games right around when I was 4-ish. And yeah, those games, it scared the crap out of me. What the hell is that? I can't jump on that and make it disappear like the little mushroom dudes, or like the little turtles, or like when you're in the dungeons and there's those fire things that swing.
Yeah.
They're like tethered, like fire ropes, and they swing around, and you got to jump over the lava without hitting those. Yeah. And the whole time the music's going, or what, that little song,
Yeah,
I can't replicate
builds,
that song. Yeah, man, you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it out of this one. But it wasn't a nope. It wasn't like a nope. It was just like a gosh. But anyways.
No, you're dead on. I ran across some videos that would be like surprisingly scary games that are seemingly for a younger audience that are scary, and I think that sort of Mario World 3D one, there's some sort of serpent that comes out of the wall that scares the crap out of everyone, and I didn't really enjoy the 3D Mario, so I never played very far into it. But
do you mean Super Mario 64?
It is
On
on the
the
64.
Nintendo
I know
64?
you said more like Game Boy, but yeah, I think it was right around that time period. There's one that I saw show up in a few different videos of, more like, surprisingly scary games that, you wouldn't think would be scary or whatever. And
Yeah.
that makes the list.
Yeah, I remember that. I think it was like an eel, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it an eel or a snake?
It was an eel. And it was kind of connected to the wall, almost like it was mounted to
Yeah.
it.
Oh, and dude, in Mario, in that Mario 64, it didn't scare me, but I guess it scared other people. It was that piano. You'd walk into that room, and there'd just be like a regular piano there, a normal one. It was like a wood room, like wood floor, wood walls. And you walk in there, there's just like this piano sitting in a corner, and you walk up to it, and if you tried jumping onto it, it would start going clomp, 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 and start chasing you, man. And you're like, what the hell? It's me, Mario.
What's going on with the piano? Yeah.
Pass me the chainsaw.
Damn.
Yeah, but dude, in Zelda, Ocarina of Time, epic game. God, I want to go back and play that. There's like these like weird zombie things, or like these weird sand zombies, dude, in this one section of the game. And you'd be going through this like little cave, and you'd come up on a bunch of them. You're playing as Link, of course, and you come up on them, and they make this weird like, and they just get close to you, and if they manage to get onto you, they would start like eating your face, dude. Super trippy, like. And like, here, let me see if I can pull up.
Jesus, I'm scared already. Don't summon that demon.
let me summon it here on my phone real quick, just to get your nipples hard. Just kidding. People go like, what? Zelda zombies. Nintendo 64. You don't remember them? Did you play Ocarina of Time? I'm sure
not.
you did, man. Everyone
I
played
feel like
that
it
game.
gets brought up as like maybe the best video game of all time, but I played the originals.
Oh yeah, here we go.
But
Oh god, it's freaking me out already. Let me see.
Oh no. Yeah, that might have been the first Nope moment for me. If I just saw that thing, I'm getting Slee Stack vibes from the Lost in Space viewers. Is what I'm seeing right there. No thanks, nope.
Danger, Tomahawk.
Yeah, I pictured like a bigger, more snuffleupagus size, like animal or something. Those things are scary as crap. You just showed me there,
dude. They're really, yeah. I'll send you a video. It'll get you going.
Yeah. These moments.
What else?
Are,
Let's see. Go ahead, man.
I have to like sort of go on record here. Like I do remember like the Doom game. Like I was kind of at my friend's house, and I'd been playing a few rounds of Doom on this early PC type situation that he had, and it was like I went outside to take a leak, and I kind of felt like I saw one of those like enemies from the Doom game, like kind of off in the distance there, and yeah, I remember that very distinctly, like kind of the first experience with first person shooter, and like it kind of warped my little like 1990 mind there a little bit, like.
Doom is definitely on the list, if you will, for scary games. Even Duke Nukem. Yeah. Duke Nukem has a bunch
pretty
of
much
scary
going
ones.
into hell,
game,
reference my earlier comment about the Lord, like possibly being involved. Like,
it's like bienvenido al infierno, pasa, come in, pásale, hay cerveza.
It's like, dang it, this is what they warned me about at church camp. Like. I should have finished Bible school. Like, dang
dude,
it.
Hey, I love church camp, dude. I used to go to that as a kid. That was fun. Those were fun times. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
You also wrote on here, oh, dude, I know what this is from. I Needle Dead Space 2. Oh, gosh, I remember that scene, man. And what sucks is I kept missing the target like 3 times, so I had to endure that cutscene more than once before like figuring it out.
Dude, I feel like this is probably like for me came up as the number 2 like on the list of the most common that I saw of scariest moments in video games, and the whole time I'm watching that, I'm thinking it's just going to be scary because it's going to be like messing with his eye. Like, and when I say messing with his eye, I mean in you're getting laser correction vision surgery type messing with your eye. Like everything's going to be just fine when this is over. And the drill like jams into his skull. Into his
Dude, it
eye.
almost goes right through it. And he's just like, and you just see like the carnage and the blood just.
No,
Dang.
no.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Chuck is really grabbing his seat right now and like making these like clench faces.
Hey, I have to hold on to my seat all the time because that's how smooth I am. I'd slide out on the floor.
Oh. Chuck point reached.
That's right. No, dude. I have to go on record here, dude. I had laser vision correction surgery. So I've had the experience of being laying on a table, had this like brace come down and like pin my head to the table and
Damn, dude, that's
hold
like
my eye open. And then I watched this thing come down that was akin to like a pizza cutter and cut like a thing, like a flap of sorts, like a almost full circle, flipped that over. Then a laser came down and blasted my...
Dude, stop. Stop, dude.
Yeah.
Stop, man.
So
Now
imagine
I'm
what this
frickin-
did
now
to
I'm
me to
gripping my
watch
chair.
this. Like,
Dude, you're talking about some like Star Trek Next Generation Borg shit right there, man.
dude, and the whole time I was thinking like this is how it's supposed to work. Like I'd had a conference with the doctor, everything was fine, and that's what I'm saying.
I signed the forms.
Yeah. Dude, my doctor's like he chose this time to think it was a good time to be funny. Like, so they give you like a Valium, and you sit in this chair, and they're kind of checking you all over, and the doctor comes in, and he's like standing there, and he's holding his hand up, shaking like this, and he's like, "Don't worry, son." He's like, "I do the operations with this hand." Or whatever. I'm like, no, this is not
Wait,
okay.
you mean he showed you his right arm and it was kind of like Touretting out, like shaking?
We were sitting side by side, and we were both facing this way. And the hand that was closest to him, he purposely just like had it shake, and like
Just to
enough
freak you
that
out?
would get your attention. And I'm like looking at his hand, and when he finally sees that I'm looking, he raises his other hand and says, "Don't worry, I use this hand for the operations." And like. Like as much as I love comedy, I was like, this is not the time. This is not okay. Like we need to be incredibly serious here. Like is there not like a checklist of sorts that you should be running?
Yeah. It's like, hey, Doc, my co-host Ovox and I, we do this sound check before we record. Are we going to do anything similar here?
Yeah, exactly. Is
there like a checklist? Do you need to like check my
the beams
like,
and the laser? Like
yeah.
something.
Aren't you going to hit my knee with a little hammer thing first?
Sharpen that pizza cutter. Like I mean, is there not something else you could be doing besides cracking jokes? And yeah, that's the whole vibe. But I mean, I'm not lying, dude. I mean, like after a lifetime of not being able to see, as soon as they were done, I sat up and I could see. Like there was a clock on the wall, I can still see it. Like, I mean, it was amazing. You know, and it even takes a while, like, for it to really get clear. You know, folks that have had it know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's why this eye needle, like Deep Space 2, Dead Space 2 situation.
Yeah, man,
Hit home real hard for me. And
yeah, me too.
Yeah,
because I played that. I remember playing that, and obviously, do you remember when that game was from?
I don't.
It was a while back. It was a while back for sure when I played.
Yeah,
and yeah, it scared the crap out of me too. And see, because I wasn't really like convinced in that being a horror game, you know. So I was playing it, You know, it wasn't like Resident Evil or Silent Hill where it was just like, I'm not even going to buy that. I'm not even going to touch it with a meter, with a yardstick or whatever. I'm not even going to get close to it.
10-foot pole.
Dead Space was like, yeah, man, I'm in. Let me try that out. And it's still, there were some moments. And it's like we were just talking about in that description. Like, these are action games at the end of the day. Some of them are action games that kind of fall into the horror subgenre. They have elements to them. And then, of course, there's obviously games that are just clearly horror games, but like The Last of Us.
Yeah. And you also, like as I was researching this, I would see like where just plain old creepy stuff happened, you know, and I kind of want to save those for the end, and maybe just to like as I did more like a traditional scary moments in video games, almost like a visual type moment. I think is what I would see people going with there. One that kept coming up was out of a playable trailer for one of the Silent Hill installments. And there's a character named Lisa in there. And the visual that you keep getting is like she's kind of at the end of this hallway. She looks incredibly dismembered, and she's almost like she's kind of hanging there. And she's just, like her head's just kind of going back around and forth, like you know.
Oh, dude, stop that! Don't do that.
Like right in that Exorcist.
Wait, do it again, real quick. Do it again.
In the Exorcist kind of way.
No, stop.
It's like, you know, we only want to help you,
so
Lisa.
creepy,
Well, then
dude.
just stand still. Like I want to say, yeah,
God, that was really weird when you did that, dude. Sorry,
dude. If you, I read up on the backstory of this thing, like as I understand the story goes, is there's like some sort of god or something that's about to be born, and there's this manifestation of a god that's in this basement, and Lisa was the nurse that was taking care of it. And at the point we're seeing in this video game, we're actually in the dream states of this god that was about to have this baby of sorts that's, you know, going to bring down bad things apparently. And yeah, Lisa in these things are there's kind of 3 levels to the dream state. Like I obviously can't explain it all, but the deal is that she's dead and doesn't know it, essentially. And she's kind of woken up in the hospital that she worked in as a nurse, and she's running into people and they don't look right, and she doesn't realize that she looks just like them. And she's wandering around, and one of the things she sees is like this fetus in a sink, and it's like kind of half alive or something. Like I almost had to nope out just on the research at that point. Like, was like, you know, it's like, okay, this, I agree, is the scariest one I've seen. Like, I'll take their word for it. Like, this is it. This wins. Like, I'd rather, this is worse than a needle in my eye.
Oof, gnarly, man.
Yeah.
I only played Silent Hill for like a minute. My brother wanted to play it. Like, he got it. He got it. I don't remember what he got. Was it on the Nintendo 64? Do you remember? Or was it on the PlayStation?
A number of things. I think it's even made they've made movies about it.
No. But screw the movies. I'm talking about the one that I played, Silent Hill 2. Because my brother had it and he played it, and I remember just going, no, man, I'm not playing that game. But yeah, Silent Hill is up there on the PlayStation 2, Xbox. That's right. It was on the PlayStation 2. My bad. I was a little bit off there. But yeah, dude, that game is insanely scary, in my opinion. They had some particular scary characteristics in that one that made it even like a different kind of scary from Resident Evil, for example. You know, it had its own thing going.
Like a level up.
Yeah, in my opinion, yeah.
I agree. Hey, the more I read into the story, the scareder I got, and yeah. I say it wins. Like, it's the scariest moment I could come up with in a video game that that really knocked me over the head. You know,
dude, what you just did a minute ago when you with your face and what you like. Thank good listeners, you're glad you didn't see it. It legit scared me.
It's what she's doing. And like, I watched it so many times. I was just like,
are you practicing? Rewind.
I was just like, what is bothering me about
Rewind.
this?
It's like, I'm going to do this for Ovox. Bring some flavor to the podcast.
Yeah. So hats off to the folks at Silent Hill there. You got me. Like, if that's just the playable trailer, like, I don't want no part of the game.
Hey, you win?
Yeah, no.
You got me. All right.
I'm scared. You got me. Like, horror was what you're going for. You got me.
You can check that box.
Yeah. That story checks out. Yeah, those games are scary. So, yeah, it was fun to kind of look into that. I think, like I say, as I was doing this research, I kept kind of running across just like urban legends as well, like creepy moments in video games, and I couldn't really find it, but I know, like, at some point I heard a story about a game save that was jacked up of sorts. And I don't have it in our outline or anything like that, but
okay.
It was what led me to start looking for these sort of urban legend type things.
Well, we got to wrap this one up soon. We're coming up on an hour and a half, and I know you got to go you got to catch that Tennessee-Kentucky game.
Yeah, baby, got a pregame.
And I got some Halloween commitments myself. So out of these stories you got here in our outline, let's just pick the one that we're going to scare the listeners the most with. And I think it's the first one, dude. That first one that you shared with me.
Yeah.
That one really, like, got me going. Like, when you sent me the information and I was starting to get into it, the ending really, like, whoa.
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. It's kind of, I think a few stories into it, like there's sort of just to kind of like kick it off with our listeners. There was a game called Killswitch that as I take it, there was only about 5,000 copies of it made. And one of the unique features of this game is that when it was done, it erased itself. There was no like saving the game or modding it somehow or something. And I don't know how they achieved that, but
it was Killswitch, and what kind of a game is that where you just walk around? I think it's from screen to screen as well. Mm-hmm. And there's like an eyeball that you could like inspect things throughout the environment, and you had to I think it was like you were basically in a dungeon type thing, and you had to make it out. I think it was like a mine. You had to make it out of the mine. Yeah, and you could only play as this gal,
Porto,
or you could play as a ghost, which was Ghast.
Yeah,
but it had a unique thing that you couldn't see Ghast if you picked Ghast. He was a ghost. You couldn't see him on the screen, invisible. So it made it. He was invisible, but the gameplay was similar. But you couldn't see him. So naturally, most players of Killswitch would go for Porto, play with her. But then there was this other weird dynamic that you were just describing.
Yeah, so no one really got to experience both. Like, if you chose Porto and went on through the game, and as I don't assume there was any way to save it. Like you finished the game. That choice was made essentially, and it was incredibly rare that anyone picked Ghast, as I understand it, because the game was all but impossible as it was described.
Well, and what would happen if you beat the game with any of them?
Game
either of them
over, like forever over, like it deletes itself.
That would be a pain.
Yeah.
So where's the legend in here? Where's the? It
shows up as cursed because there were only so many copies of it made, and it deleted itself at the end of it. But
every copy would eventually become there. Like the amount of available copies became less and less. Then
exactly, and it also, I think for collectors, because of its limited availability, it started showing up on that radar. And also the fact that no one had ever experienced, there was no known case of anyone beating the game as Ghast. So it starts kind of showing up as I take it on collectors, like, want list and sort of what they're hunting for. And the story kind of takes a turn there around 2004 or 5. I think there's a copy that shows up on eBay that's still in the shrink wrap. And
Is that who this guy is here?
Yeah.
Yamamoto Ryuichi?
He purchases it for over $700,000. And his plan is sort of from a content creator standpoint. He's going to make his $700,000 back in the fact that he's going to play as Gast and beat the game.
Yeah,
And,
make a
you know,
YouTube channel, maybe a Twitch channel,
Yeah.
get those subs, get those views, get that monetization, make your money back. Okay, I mean that's one hell of a goal, but you know, maybe with just the clout that the game has already, you know, the fact that it was going for such a price, maybe that's an achievable goal for him to make the money back. I don't know. You know.
Yeah. So picture you're in the video game collecting universe and a gamer, and you know this gentleman has purchased this game, and we're anxiously awaiting to see that YouTube channel and where that goes, and you know, I would think, you know, even an unboxing video of what's in there. But you know what? Actually, the only thing that's ever surfaced is a 1 minute and I think 43-second video of Yamamoto Ryuichi sitting in front of his computer, weeping.
Weeping, crying. Why?
The game is cursed.
What else do we know? What happened to him?
There's speculation, of course.
What do you think happened to him?
I think my mind goes to he went mad, but I also think about $700,000 being on the line, and
Ain't on the line anymore, man.
I've already saw some speculation.
He put the credit card information in.
That maybe it didn't work, or he couldn't play his Gast. Like, you know, we don't know. Like, all we have is the video of him crying.
Man. Has anyone heard from him since then? Nothing. Now, do you think he knew the truth?
I think I apologize. Maybe we could back up just a second. You did ask, you know, a couple times, is there any more information? And I will say that at some point there was a statement from the makers of the video game, and it kind of doubled down on the fact that they made the game to have, I forget the exact wording, but it was something of the nature that they were trying to emulate real life, in that, you know, choices were permanent and that death was permanent, and, you know, they were trying to simulate that.
I could see that. I mean, I see where they're coming from, but I could see how that wouldn't be of much, what's the word? I'm trying to use fancy words here. I could see how that wouldn't really make the buyers of the game feel any better, you know, because they probably still wanted to play as Gast.
And actually that's how that like you just framed it up perfectly. That was sort of the context of like when people purchased the game and they kind of went back at the creators. That's, you know, the message they got back from them. But it really didn't, you know, specifically address Mr. Ryuichi's situation. And, you know, I'm not going to say, folks, that there aren't some speculation out there and you know, some more information. When I say we've never heard another word, like there's some stuff out there, but I think it's fun to just sort of stop it right here and say that's the mystery. Like, what happened? and think about what, did his experience with gas cause that, or was it just that hard, or is the game cursed? Like there are some weird things going on here. Obviously, these people aren't in it for the money. Like if they only made 5,000 copies, and there's obviously enough interest that it's showed up on our radars, that there's something here. But yeah, what was he crying about?
Well, who was this game developed by? Let me see real quick. I remember it starts with a V. Karvina Corporation. That's why I thought it was a V, because of the Vina. Developed by the Karvina Corporation. Kind of reminds me of the Umbrella Corporation from Resident Evil. Okay, so yeah, maybe something happened there between the man, the screen, and the ghast. It's hard to say.
And his $700,000, I think.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's that side. Maybe he was crying over a bad financial decision. Maybe not.
Yeah, something tells me if you've got $700,000 to drop on a video game, you might be in a place, where money, wasn't a big deal for you. But if it was truly like an investment that he was going to, sort of turn into some content creation, then boy, he did. I'm crying for him. That is scary.
Now, could he have been crying because of a third factor? Perhaps a potential truth? Did he maybe find out that it turned out to be a complete false story from the get-go, from a book? Was it a book or an article?
I'm going to let our listeners look for that. Like, it's a mystery. You got some information I don't know there?
Well, I got it from what you sent me. Don't leave it out for him. Tell him the truth.
Yeah, you tell him. I want it to be a mystery. I liked it. I liked it before that.
Well, it turns out that this is all just from a newsletter or something like that. I don't remember what the details were, but it turns out this whole Killswitch game was actually just some sort of a fictional article or a story of sorts. I don't remember. Do you remember the details on that?
I don't, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But over time and years and just, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll call it imaginative gamers out there and folks, sorry. They managed to turn it into a whole urban legend.
Yeah.
My question is so no, we needed to bring this out because now I wanted to unpack some stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, the mystery's out of the box. Happy Halloween! All right, we hope we scared you. Okay, Chuck, you're all trying to be all. I get it, but we got to be thorough here. It was all a fake. It is an urban legend. But what I'm curious about is, is there actually someone named Yamamoto Ryuichi? And if so, did he actually buy this game for over $700,000, or is the whole kit and caboodle made up by the gaming community? Because the way I kind of like interpreted it from what you sent me was that the whole thing was just everything was made up, yeah. Like all of it. Well,
and I think where I'm going with this is that's what. Like even for people like us that are going to protect our sanity from seeing, fetuses in a sink or whatever, is what can actually be fun about this. Like, it's fun to think, just about the whole thing. Really, I liked it. It took me on sort of an emotional roller coaster ride, and to be honest with you, when it got to that point, like I kind of tuned out a little bit. Like I wanted to know, and I saw that, but I didn't really go there. Like I still wanted to. Speculate about what he was crying about and what that might be like. And I loved how it included like content creation. Like it seems like, everyone's a content creator these days. And, yeah, it's a fun story.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, let me read this real quick. I'm reading from the Gaming Urban Legends wiki. It says, as it turns out, Killswitch is not actually a real game. Instead, it originated as a short story published in The Melancholy of Mecha Girl, a collection of stories and poems by author Catherine M. Valente. However, it has since been made into a real fan games. Anyways, that's that. So, yeah, I'm sorry, man. I know you wanted to leave everyone with the suspense and like get people going out there Googling shit. Like, what's up with this game, man? only to get a curveball from Chuck T. But I kind of wanted to unpack that a little bit and see what your thoughts were. If the game simply just doesn't exist, but all that stuff happened, or if all of the stuff, including this person, Yamamoto Ryuichi, and the purchase on eBay, because that was on eBay where that took place. All of it. I wanted to see what your thoughts were, and I think my understanding is that the whole thing is completely made up, or from that Melancholy of Mecha Girl short story.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Which maybe. Sorry for interrupting, but maybe we needed to go check out that short story.
Yeah.
Just to get the other side of this coin. Because, I mean, we know about the urban legend now, but it's inspired by this short story. So maybe we should go check that out. That'd be a mystery for all of us, including the listeners, because we never looked at that.
I agree. It's
Trick
like
or
I
treat.
say, I think it's just a fun exercise to stay curious to these kind of things, and I don't typically look for them a whole lot. We've talked about sort of what was it, apophenia, like finding patterns and things that aren't really there. It's kind of a human nature sort of trait, and it's easy to sort of let these things kind of run away with you, and sort of on the internet especially, like things can spread so fast these days. It's just a fun sort of exercise, I think, and what if I really pin it down, it's one of the things I always loved ghost stories as a kid. Even though I wasn't so much into horror films and things like that, but a good old ghost story. There I remember in Boy Scouts, on those camping trips, right before bed, those would always get broke out. Like, don't get the machete back out.
Where are they, Chuck? I got a machete right here.
Yeah,
it's not actually made of silver, but I can pretend it is, just in case any werewolves want to show up.
But
I can throw some salt on there for anything else. Aren't there some demons out there that don't go well with salt? I've seen Supernatural. I'm ready. I watched all of that.
Yeah, he's ready. Yes, for
Let's
sure.
go. Get the Winchester boys with us.
It's fun to like. I love how serious you got there for a second. Though you were just like, this ain't true, right? Like, that's me with my girlfriend. Like, exactly. Like, it's that. It's like, you realize this is a ghost story, right? Like, that's a guy
You were
named
giving me
Steve,
like the
or-
evil eye for spilling the beans for all the listeners. Damn it, Ovox.
That's what makes it fun, Like it.
Well, you should have said something. I didn't know you wanted to not come to that part.
Oh no, man! It's good. That's exactly like it's what it's like in real life. When you hear these.
Hey,
things.
man, Killswitch is real. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Short stories.
I know we're kind of like coming to the end of this, but I'm going to throw a few honorable mentions out there, like to just some weird stuff that I heard. You mentioned that polybus thing. I think that thing actually showed up in a Simpsons episode, but yeah, if folks want to look into that, like it's almost like there was some government experiment going on there where folks had a lot of side effects from playing that game, and it actually was based on Tempest, which was one of my favorite games in the arcade. That definitely, kind of showed up on my radar. Got to give a huge shout out to the you might can say the right name for the dinosaur, but that lobster thing that scared the living monkey
God, dude,
shit.
I will never forget that, dude. You screamed so loud that my headset cut out during the high pitches.
Jesus, dude, that's the scariest I've been in a video game in a long time. I'll say it. Like,
real quick, recapping on that, we were on the new. Was it what island were we on? What map were we on? We were playing Ark Survival Evolved.
Or however how you pronounce that, Fordor.
We were on the new map Fjorder.
Fordor.
I I remember I always going, Fjorda. We were on Fjorda.
Well,
And we had a good spot. We were... Go ahead. Sorry. Tell him.
Well, I want to add in, like, I'm here with Ovox, and it's like we're getting a start, so it's like we need to get some resources, and so I kind of have to be doing what I'm doing to kind of keep things moving along, and I'm just bebopping along the shore, like up against the sea where sea creatures are supposed to live, and lo and behold, there's one on land, and I'm kind of like, well, hey, like, what's going up there? Like, not thinking, like, I think I had a hatchet or something. Like, you should be able to kill a lobster with a hatchet. Like, that makes pretty logical sense. I'm going to, like, score some chitin and a little bit of meat here or something.
Yeah.
And, dude, that thing stung the shit out of me. It stung me. I slowly browned out and passed out, and then was just barely able, out of the, like the corner of my eye, able to see it just continually sting me over and over and over. Like, God, yeah.
It was just eating on your calf until you died. Just chewing on your calf.
And I have to say, like, I probably jumped that time and was like, damn, like maybe ask for your help. But, like,
it was the second time.
Second time when we thought, like, you had ran him off, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, I did. I guided him away.
And I was just like I was harvesting some stuff, and I think I had just said, like, how funny would it be if he came back? And, like, I looked around and fuck, like, right behind me, I went through the whole experience again. And like you said, I screamed like a girl. I was horrified.
You were so loud, dude. I laughed so hard. I'm so sorry for laughing.
Dude, I remember, like honestly, like, it's a fun memory now, but I think at the time, like you were kind of like, hey, like, like, that's pretty loud. Like, like, not in a, like, hey, I'm having the time of my life kind of way. like,
well, because it was like, ah! And I wasn't expecting that from your, you got a nice low sweet southern voice, I wasn't.
Me
I was
either.
You caught me off guard, dude.
Dude, and listeners, let's just not even go into the third and fourth times that it happened.
Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, did we mention?
I know for a fact the whole thing happened again, and I'm pretty sure on the fourth one you killed it or something like that. But
yeah, we had to find a way to handle that thing. It took like 40 arrows.
Yeah, that thing, dude. I've read, like, since, like, that's exact things happened to other people. Like they caught it was on land and it just like drilled them. But yeah, as far as scary moments in video games, especially recently, that one, like, blows my freaking doors right off. As far as ones I've seen, but yeah, that's kind of all I got, really. I feel like I've been through it. Like, this is enough scaring for me.
Well, this has been awesome episode, man. Been an awesome episode. Great trick or treats. Mostly treats, so that's good news. We should have some great experiences coming up with I'm particularly excited for the Modern Warfare Warzone 2. That'll be fun. Look forward to playing with you. To everyone out there, have an awesome Halloween. Stay safe. It's a Saturday when we're recording this, so I hope it might not be the weekend anymore by the time I get it up, but just have a safe and fun Halloween weekend. And if you're south of the border, Feliz Dia de los Muertos, which is coming up soon. And Chuck, are you going to go out and trick-or-treat at all? You can go get some chocolates?
Maybe
some Snickers?
Some M&Ms? I was kind of thinking about being Duke Nukem for Halloween, so yeah, I might get that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum.
And I'm all out of gum.
I'm all out of gum. That's right. Get after it.
Yeah, definitely happy Halloween to everyone, and I hope nobody gets noped out.
Yeah, don't get noped. Or if you do, it's all good. We're only human. All right. Happy Halloween, Chuck.
Happy Halloween to you too, Alex.
Perfect.